Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Story. We are here for the first of a triple header weekend for Formula One. What's that mean for Alex and I? It means we got a lot of work coming up, but it also means that we get to talk and watch a lot of racing, and I'm super excited about it. So it starts off with the Spanish Grand Prix. That is Carlos's and Fernando's home race.
Mm-hmm.
Well, use the term home loosely, but it's their nationality, their country.
It's country.
So it's going to be,
right?
and it's a good track. It's probably the best racing track, even though Canada gave us a great race. It's the best racing track we've had in a couple of weeks. So that's exciting. Alex, what's going on with you, my man? Phone troubles today, but you're here. You've been fighting through a lot of issues to get to the basement on Monday nights.
Yeah, we're not gonna say that word ever again. Mondays no longer exist around here. All right, it's a 4-day work week. You get 313 days in a year, 6 days a week. Mondays no longer exist.
Dave Powers used to have a whole thing. God, it's Monday. TGIM. You just want to get rid of the Mondays.
Yep, entirely. Listen, Dave's one of a kind. All right.
We're just
out there building robots. He can do whatever the heck he wants.
We're just gonna casually get rid of 1/7 of your whole entire life, huh?
Someone's got to do it.
All right, I like it. You excited for Spain this weekend or what, brother?
Yeah, I'm excited. Get some racing back in the calendar for Sunday. Got my Sundays are now pretty free. So that's going to be looking forward to.
What's that mean? Kickball's over?
Kickball's done.
Okay.
Taking it off for the summer. Taking dodgeball off for the summer. I'm taking everything off for the summer.
Yeah, nice.
Taking a little break.
I'm taking dodgeball off for the summer too.
Sweet. I didn't want to do the draft league.
Yeah.
I was not about it.
I actually told Ryan before that got announced that I was taking the summer off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I was not doing the summer league no matter what. You just need a break, dude. And it's so nice outside.
Yeah.
Get some hikes. Get some, I don't know, just get some use, some chill time.
With Carter.
Yeah. But hey, so we go into Spain this weekend. Man, dude, am I wrong in saying that there's a possibility 4 constructors can win this weekend? Now, I think one's going to win, but there's a possibility that 4 can win.
Are you putting Mercedes?
You're not putting Mercedes in there after last week?
No, I don't. I just don't trust them. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll wait. I need a little more consistency from them to put them there yet. I could see them finishing on the podium. I can't see them winning the race.
Okay. All right.
Because I think, this is also dynamic on that too. Like, Lewis is obviously being a little mistreated right now at this Mercedes seat. George is obviously the number 1 driver right now. That's the way they're treating him. That's the way that they're going about it. Lewis is being experimental for the most part, but if that's the case, if Mercedes has a chance to win this race, like, I think you have to push Lewis to win this race and not George. And I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think it's going to cause a little bit of a fight within the team.
All right. Okay. Well, all right. So you think 3 teams can win. I think 4 teams can win. Besides Nico Rosberg, I don't think anyone besides Lewis or Max has won this race for like the last 8 years or something insane like that.
I didn't know that.
Because Max won 2016, that year that Nico and Lewis wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
So going back a whole bunch of years, it's pretty much been Lewis or Max. We had the great.
Is that Max's debut at Red Bull? Was this race? It was.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. This is also the race where Mercedes pulled the masterclass strategy, pitted Lewis behind Max, and Red Bull couldn't respond, and Lewis ended up passing Max. So it provides some great racing. They did a year ago. They changed the last corner. They got rid of the chicane to allow for a little bit more passing. So I'm excited. As I said, I believe 4 teams can win. Alex believes 3 teams can win, but that's still better than us going in thinking that only one team. Yeah. So it's very exciting, and it's just you just don't know. Would I be crazy for saying that McLaren's been kind of the steady Eddie? Past couple weeks?
I think they've been like P2. Second fastest car on the grid, arguably.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mercedes was probably the fastest car on the grid last week.
Mm-hmm.
The week before that was it McLaren or Ferrari?
Ferrari,
Monaco. Yeah, and the race before that was McLaren, I think, too. Or
yeah,
was Red Bull?
McLaren. Lando caught Max at the end of Imola.
I think they ended up with fastest lap too, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. But yeah, McLaren's been pretty steady. I'd say they have the second fastest car on the grid right now, consistently. It seems like 1 through 3 have been flopping with flip-flopping. Sorry, not flopping in that sense. Between Red Bull and Ferrari. For Ferrari, I still think obviously you can't count them out, but after that Canada week, it's really tough to consider them favorites or consistent, because I think everybody expected them to perform a lot better than they did. Yeah. Especially with that track.
Yeah. And I've tried to go over a couple laps in my head here. about what the curbs is like, because the curbs is what seems to really be messing Max up. I think they'll be okay here with the curb situation, but I could be wrong. But as Alex said, McLaren really has. He hit it on the head. McLaren's been floating second fastest car. Again, Ferrari was faster in Monaco. Red Bull wasn't so fast. Then you go to Canada. Ferrari obviously not fast. Red Bull a little bit faster. So a lot of things have been going on there. I believe that Mercedes is getting faster every week. I do believe that upgrades are trending in the right direction. They are saying now that the car is reacting in accordance to the simulator now, and that they have upgrades coming through this whole swing. So
I did see that.
Yeah.
I also saw that I think Red Bull is contesting them for their front wing, saying it's illegal, which I haven't heard anything other than like they were contesting that. I'm curious what they see, because it looks legal to me, but I'm also not.
If Red Bull's the only one doing it, no way that's going to pass.
Yeah, I don't know anything about aerodynamics or the exact logistics of why they were contesting it, but I just saw it did look very different, but it looked legal, I guess.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they passed it for the test, and they got to get inspected a bit, you know?
Yeah, so I feel like that's something that'll fall on deaf ears. But, man, like I said, I'm just really excited because I really think you could go in. You have 4 teams. You have 7 great drivers, 1 iffy driver, and Sergio Perez. Let's be honest. So, you know, Lando, Oscar have been qualifying very well. Max qualifies well. George obviously qualified well last week. Carlos qualifying, maybe not as good, but still solid. And Lewis is Lewis. Obviously, qualifying's not great. But, like, you just don't know who's going to put it on pole in qualifying, especially. Like, on race, I think we're leaning towards Red Bull probably.
Yeah.
But qualifying.
You could throw a toss-up. Like,
yeah.
McLaren could win it. Mercedes could win it. They looked quick last week. Ferrari, too. Can't never count out Charles to take a pole.
Yeah, and that makes Alex's favorite, the Saturday qualifying, very interesting this week. So we're going to be looking forward to that. We're still playing the silly season, waiting to see who's going to go where. I do see Carlos and Williams. It seems to be heating up a lot.
Yeah, it seems like he's slow. I think he knows where he's going. I think he's already signed something. He's just keeping hush-hush about it. And the rumor is that it's going to be Williams. I saw a video, interview he had the other day where it was a Spanish interview, and he mentions how there's 18 drivers who are going to be on the grid next year, and 2 of them are leaving. Those 2 are probably going to be Guan Yu Zhou and Logan Sargent. But yeah. Which is interesting because that almost seems like K-Mag has a seat next year then. Potentially.
Yeah. I saw something that Joe Guan Yu's sponsors are trying to bring in 34 million, I don't know, euros, whatever, to Haas to try to get him that seat. But they're probably going to go with Oliver Behrman. So
yeah,
Joe Guan Yu's trying to bring money to a team and can't even get a seat based off of performance. So
I feel like he did pretty okay the first. This is his 3rd year. I think the first 2 years he did pretty okay. I think this year's been rough, but I think that car has also been like a disaster.
Yeah,
and especially in like not even just the car, like the pit crews, the strategy, everything. He's been handed a really rough year.
Yeah, and that's tough. Sometimes in the sport, you only get one opportunity with a not so great team. That's very, very tough. But silly season's going on. But that's to say that we haven't heard any solid news, right? We haven't heard anything since Canada.
Nothing solidified.
So we kind of have a nice chill week here. Man, the big talking point that I wanted to bring up with you today, because I saw this from Lando Norris, and it really just got me thinking. Man, F1's need to change regulations, I think, really does the opposite of what they wanted to do. So can I read to you about their regulations?
Yep.
Lighter, more powerful, and more focused on driver skill. The 2026 FIA Formula One technical regulations have been designed to provide closer racing among drivers, increase the competition between teams, and to improve the spectacle. Now, I'm bringing this up because Lando Norris said that, you know, when you change the new regulations, you're probably gonna have one team far out in front, just like when they changed regulations for Mercedes, just like when they changed it for Red Bull. Not for them, but when they changed the regs, those were the teams that jumped out in front. And like, we're going into this weekend with 3 to 4 teams, 4 to 5 cars that could win this race. And if we left these regulations in longer,
teams are gonna catch up.
Yeah, so why are we changing the regulations so much? Some things say safety. I don't know. But to tell me that you're going to change the regs to try to get closer racing, we're getting closer racing now, and they're going to change it. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that some changes did to be made with the car, specifically in the size. I think it's just too big. Some of these tracks they're just boring races. Like Canada, we got lucky, but like historically, Canada hasn't been that crazy exciting. Monaco, obviously, all the street circuits, all the street tracks are all like very boring. So we got to find overtaking in those tracks mainly, and obviously they want to keep some of these tracks in Formula One. They want to keep them going. Like obviously Monaco's never going to leave. As boring as it is, as dull as it is to watch, like I said, this year, even though Charles won and I was happy and excited for him, I think I watched like maybe 20 laps of the race, 15 laps of the race. I was making breakfast the entire race.
Yeah, it was tough.
And I think they want to try something different, but I do agree with you. I think like the regs, like the most exciting year we've had in Formula One that I've been watching Formula One was that 2021 year, where it came down to the final race for the World Driver Championship.
Lando referenced that year too. Said if you look at the end of that year, Red Bull had caught up to Mercedes, and other teams were catching up.
Yeah, McLaren was catching up. They were like right there. Ferrari was the only team I think that didn't make progress that year. I think they kind of stayed stagnant at like I don't know where they were finishing, 6th, 7th, 6th, wherever they were finishing around that year. But they were also more focused on the new regs than anything else. Had Ferrari stayed and actually tried, they have an endless amount of money. At this time, there wasn't a budget, so they could have spent the money to upgrade their cars. What drove me nuts about the Ferrari, too, is I hated their front nose.
Okay.
It drove me nuts because I feel like their front nose was a lot of the problem with that car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. Like, this is probably going to be the most exciting year we're going to have in Formula One for a little bit, especially with the new regs coming in 2 years. Maybe next year can be exciting.
I mean, the regs aren't changing.
The regs aren't changing next year, but I think teams are going to be more focused on the new regs than they are for next year's car.
Okay. Yeah, but that should hopefully leave us with the same next year for racing for next year, correct? But obviously Mercedes is bringing upgrades. We don't know what that's going to bring them. They might have the most dominant car. I saw Renault actually wants to get rid of their power engine for 2026. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that too.
Which is interesting. They want to become a constructors who buys their power engine, and they were looking at Red Bull's power unit. But I
saw Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah. So Red Bull was I think Red Bull can't do it just because they just started building engines because they were obviously powered by Honda. This is their first year for the new regs. They're going to be building that engine. I don't know if they're going to have the means to hand it out to another team. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot. I agree with that. I can agree with that statement. Like it does seem like it's going backwards, but obviously they also want to do the carbon neutral stuff too, and they want to lean as close to that as possible. I think we talked about it last week. I think they got to lean more towards the transportation part of it more than the actual racing itself. Like you said, there's a Formula E. If we really want to focus on carbon neutral, we just go that way.
Yeah. I just think that their goals here almost go backwards sometimes. You say the size of the cars, and I agree with you to an extent. I think they're too big too. But like maybe my thing is to just start changing the tracks. You know what I mean? Why are we changing the cars? Why are we not?
We
changing
can do that.
tracks?
We can do that with the races, with the actual tracks like that. But like you can't change Monaco. Like we tried.
So maybe it's time to not go to Monaco.
It's just not gonna happen. We won't throw that.
I'm telling you, I don't know. They're making counterintuitive moves. Let's say these new regs come out in 2026, and you have another one team just dominating while the other teams try to catch up. When you have cars that are getting close to each other now, just doesn't seem to make sense. In my opinion.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but I just thought it was a good point by Lando. He made a lot of sense. So I think next year, drivers are really going to try to seize the opportunity to win a championship before the new regs come, especially if they're closer. Drivers like Lando, drivers like Charles, if they get it, poor Charles will be going up against Lewis, so that'll be tough. But drivers who might be close, they're going to know, all right, we've seen what happens when new regs come out. We might have a shot to win it this year if we got a decent car. So I believe that the rest of this season and next season going forward, we might be getting some very, very, very exciting racing. So that's all cool stuff. And not much else to say about that besides we're in Spain. You want to go over the DraftKings odds that we got going on?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Did you want to show the thing we missed last week first?
Oh, yeah. We'll do that after this.
All right, right after? Sweet.
So DraftKings, wow, Max is at minus 190, which is, Max has been favorited heavy in the minus 400s and plus a lot of weeks. So, minus 190, definitely Vegas believes that these other guys are getting closer, especially after Canada last week. And the driver that they think is the closest is Lando Norris at plus 400. So, kind of interesting to see what goes on here because you have Charles at plus 800. So Oscar at plus 1,600. So you have a plus 1,200 difference between him and his teammate Lando. You have Carlos at plus 2,200. So you have a 1,400 difference between Carlos and Charles. So they're splitting up teammates there, thinking that, one driver is clear ahead of the other, even though on track relative, some of those guys have been pretty close to each other. Mm-hmm. You have Sergio at plus 2,500, which makes sense. I honestly think that could be more, but we'll let it be. Then they did the classic Mercedes this year. They have Lewis and George at the same. You've seen that a lot at plus 2,500. They always show Fernando some respect at plus 1,000, or plus 1,000. Hey, yo, plus 10,000. And then it just gets crazy. Lance at plus 15. Yuki and Danny Rick at plus 20,000. So they're going.
Is that the first time they've been linked like that? Plus 20?
That I don't know. That's a good question. It looks like they're just putting some respect on that V-car team there. You got Nico at plus 25,000, Alex Albon at plus 25,000. So one Haas, one Williams driver gets the respect. And then they just lumped everyone else together, including Logan Sargent, in plus 30,000. So really interesting. What are your thoughts on some of those numbers there?
Another question I had was, has it the first time that in God knows how long that it's been two drivers be under plus 1,000?
Ooh, three drivers under plus 1,000 because Charles was plus 800.
Well, I wasn't including Max. Sorry, I was just saying like.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. It could be. It very well could be. I don't know off the top of my head, but
And I don't know how true this is, but did you see that comment that when Yuki said that he's going to be assigning to that RB team, Yuki thought he got a promotion?
Oh, really?
So they want to change the name again.
He thought he was getting promoted to the Red Bull team?
He said RB, yeah. He didn't say like the whole thing.
V-car
he said
thing?
RB, yeah. So so he was like, I got a promotion. He was like, where's Checo gonna go then?
Which is wild because Checo's thing got announced before his.
Yeah.
So the confusion level.
So I don't know how true this is. I only think I saw like 2 articles on it, and I didn't dive or 2 like people tweeting it or whatever. I didn't dive too far into it, but I thought that was hilarious. They have to change this name. This name is horrible.
They definitely do need to change the name, especially too. It stinks because the car is doing well. Yeah, I don't know. It looks silly on the side. Everything about it looks silly, but they're doing good. Plus 20,000 for both of them is something. Hopefully, what's his name? Jocks talk some smack about Danny Rick, and yeah, gets him fired up. One thing here is this track they said is going to be different than Canada. It's going to be warmer. They think it's going to favor Red Bull with their tire management and some of the stuff that I've read. So Red Bull getting that advantage, and then McLaren, Ferrari second. And I guess they are not really putting a lot of respect on Mercedes, which is fine. I know you want to see more consistency. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So. But man, there's a lot of I don't like betting on Formula One, and I don't do it. But dude, there's a lot of cool bets. You can bet on who the winner of free practice one is going to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Mercedes. Put a Mercedes in there. Seems like they always.
There's a whole bunch of props. It's at the DraftKings stuff that you can bet on for Formula One is very in depth. It's pretty cool.
I mean, like you can bet on anything.
Yeah, it's just like the free practice one. I was trying to figure out. I was like,
what lap will Logan Sargent crash on?
Yeah, that's probably a prop. Yeah. So one thing we didn't go over last week, and we're gonna go over that real quick here, is we didn't go over our pick results, which was a big fail on our part. So these are the results from our Canadian Grand Prix. If you remember, we had Mick on with us a couple weeks ago, and he gave us his pick before Canada. And he had the best point haul out of all of us. So your top 5 from Canada was Max, Lando, George, Lewis, and Oscar. Mick picked Max in first, Lando in second, Charles in third, Oscar fourth, and Carlos fifth. So obviously the 2 Ferraris, Charles and Carlos, did not finish in the top 5, but he got Max and Lando in the right spots, which was 8 points, and then 1 more point for getting Oscar in the top 5. So that gave him 9. I got 5 points because I had luckily Oscar in the right spot in 5th, and then 1 for Lando, 1 for Max. And then Alex had Oscar, Max, and Lando all in the top 5, not in the right order, so he got 3 points. But man, we're staying close for our points here. I got the lead with 69. That is a 2-point lead over Alex with 67, which is a 3-point lead over the guests, which is 64. So Mick, You did an awesome job getting the guests back in it. That's a 5-point spread between first and third. We're in this thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're doing a lot of math over there.
No,
I'm getting nervous.
I'm looking at the I'm looking at the rounds. I'm trying to see how many times we lost to the guests.
How many times we lost to the guests?
Yeah.
It was AI has put in the best week so far.
Yep, week 7. We lost in week 3. I think that was Bella, and then we lost in this one with Mick.
Yeah. So we've lost 3 weeks. Oh, I like that. That's a good little stat you put together. Unfortunately, I'm gonna ruin that soon, and it's just gonna say rounds 1 through 9 total, and then round 10. But yeah, no, that's a cool way to look at that. So, Mick, way to bring it in for the guests. 9 points is pretty good. Especially, too, I don't know if anyone could have guessed that Ferrari was going to have such a bad weekend on Monday.
It's
hard.
That was rough.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when we do our games so far in front of the week here. So, but that just brings us to our Spanish Grand Prix prediction. We're going to make our picks. Our guest picks here this week is someone from our Dodgeball League. Shouts out Vinny, captain of the Dodgers, right? Team Dodgers.
He was in Vegas last year.
He was in Vegas last year, so he has had boots on the ground. He sent us in his picks this week. He wasn't able to make it. Vinny, we appreciate you sending in your picks, though.
Solid guy.
Very solid guy. And so we're gonna go over our top 5 here. Hopefully, maybe Vinny can keep that momentum going with the guests. Alex, you have one job, and that's to remember who's picking first here. So I'll let you.
I know, it was my one job.
I've only say that because I forgot. So
we really gotta get a board and just like put it on the wall, and we'll put a sticker from week to week.
Yes.
Just like a magnet or something.
Yeah.
Or Velcro. I honestly think I go first, but I'm not 100% sure.
No, I like that. Go ahead.
All right. So do you want to do the guest first? Picker first?
No, you go
Me
first.
All right. So I'm gonna go Max.
All right.
Yeah.
Alex is going Max. Our guest is also picking Max this week.
Whoa. I feel like you should go second if the guest isn't going to go first.
No, I like throwing the guest in the middle.
Okay.
I like taking up that spotlight. And then I honestly, I was pushing that wrong because it's a clean sweep for Max in first.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I do think Red Bull is going to bounce back at this track. It's a track that suited them very well in the past.
The tire dike too.
Tire dike.
That's the big killer for me because I was debating Charles for a little bit, and actually no, I'm lying. I was debating Lando for a little bit, but that tire dike that Red Bull has is just insane.
Yeah. So we all clean sweep Max. We push that through. That brings Alex for his second place finisher.
I'm gonna go Lando.
Okay. So Alex is going Lando. Oh man. Oh, this is tough. I think I just got to do it. That front wing has been so good.
Oh my God! You know what? He didn't finish in the top 5, but I guess
He didn't finish in the top 5. He finished 4th. That gave me the green light for me to pick him.
No, I'm saying he didn't. He finished 5th.
No, he finished 4th.
Did he finish 4th?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I
forgot,
am right.
Dude.
You're right. And
he just missed the podium. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
they
what
were
I was looking at.
rolling up on Lando too. Yeah. So I'm picking Lewis second. I told Alex I'd wait until Mercedes was in the top 5, and I did. So, and then Vinny is gonna roll with Alex on this one. He is also picking Lando second. So we got Max and Lando for Vinny and Alex, and we got Max and Lewis for me. Alex, who's taking that final step on that podium?
Mo Charles.
Oh, okay. So he's saying Red Bull bounces back right back to the podium.
Charles Leclerc. You never seen the video?
No.
With the little kid yelling his name?
No.
You've never seen it?
No, I have no idea where you were going.
He's on a bus and he's like, Charles Leclerc, Charles, and he's like couldn't hear him at all. It's like a little kid, and he says it like 5 times, and then he's like, Charles Leclerc.
If you could, I still can't figure out. It won't grab my laptop audio.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no even need sending it to me, but I wish we could. I would play it. We have the time today. All right. Our guest is going to pick another Ferrari driver for the podium, but it is not Charles. He is picking Carlos in his home race, standing on the podium. So Carlos third for Vinny. My third place here. Man, it's hard to go. I want to pick a McLaren. It's just so hard for me to pick Oscar over Lando, so I'm going with Lando's in third place on that podium. Brings it back to Alex. Alex picking fourth place.
I'm sticking with the McLarens and going Oscar.
All right.
The Aussie.
So Alex has 2 McLarens already in the top 4. Our guest Vinny, he has Charles Leclerc in fourth place. So he's saying a Red Bull, a McLaren, and then 2 Ferraris. I respect it. I am going to then put Charles in fourth place as well. I don't think Ferrari's going to have as bad of a weekend as they had last week. And that leaves your 5th and final person on the podium.
Now, with the blood, sweat, and tears from Jamie Allison putting into this car, I'm
copying.
finally going to do it. I'm going to put a
copying
Mercedes here.
Just so you know.
And I'm doing George.
Yep. I'm doing the same thing. I like it.
I want to put Lewis.
No.
George has been consistent this year for the most part. He's been out qualifying him. I think he's only got out qualified by Lewis once this year so far.
I know you really freaking you hold that qualifying thing like it's gold in your mind. I swear.
I mean, like it's just overtaking your team is just tough unless like you just strategy call kind of thing, and like it's not like they're favoring Lewis heavy this year.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Saying.
I mean, you got him finishing 3 cars behind. That's brave. I'm sorry, 2 cars behind.
Yeah, and that's just me being nice. I want to see. No, that's me going off of what you said about wanting to see more consistency out of Mercedes. I'm putting George 5th, and I would like to see him higher. And if I see another week of him like last week, I will start putting George higher. So I mean, I've already said it. My 5th and final is going to George as well. So that's boring for both Alex and I. But hey, we're on the same page with that this weekend. And then Vinny's 5th. I think this is a stretch.
This is a bold take, Vinny.
This is a very bold take. I hope it would be so cool if it was right for him. But
it's not impossible.
He's going Fernando in his home race in Spain. I respect it. You know, he's thinking he'll have that good Spain juju on his side. So let's look it over real quick. Alex has Max, Lando, Charles, Oscar, and George. So he has a Red Bull, 2 McLarens, 1 Ferrari, 1 Mercedes. I myself have Max, Lewis, Lando, Charles, and George. 1 Red Bull, 2 Mercedes, and then a McLaren and a Ferrari. And then Vinny has a Max, Lando, Carlos, Charles, and Fernando. So he has a Red Bull. He's got a McLaren, 2 Ferraris, and then an Aston Martin in the top 5.
Vinny is a Ferrari fan. Now, are we going to show Vinny's real list, or are we going to keep on trolling here?
Yeah, that's Vinny's real list. Or the first one he sent, which was Sargent, Bottas, Ocon, Hulkenberg, and Magnussen. That sounds like a list that Ryan would make up. But man, I feel like this is exciting. This is back to very exciting. I love that Sergio Perez is not in the top 5 because I just struggle with him sometimes. And I really feel like besides Vinny's 5, I feel like any of this could come true. I do.
I think so too. I think it's gonna be a big week for points for both of us. Like you can get a nasty swing if Lewis does finish P2.
Which that's where he finished last year.
He did. He also had a very good car last year. He was comfortable with the car last year.
And they're getting more comfortable with the car now.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully some solid racing we get for this weekend, and we'll see what qualifying takes us.
Oh, I know qualifying on Saturday. The race, according to my phone, says it is on Sunday. Back to, I believe, because we're at the Europe time, we're going back to 9 a.m. early morning Sunday races.
I like it.
Let's see. I'm going to church at 8. I'll probably be home 9:10, so I'll probably be an hour behind to watch that race. But definitely going to make sure to tune into all of that. So I believe that's all that we have going on. Alex and I are still deciding. We're going to be here next Monday for 5:30. We just don't know the content that we're going to give you yet. We got some stuff up in the air for these doubleheader weekends coming up. But again, Vinny, thank you so much for sending your picks in.
Yeah, he didn't know about the show at all.
Yeah.
I told him about it. And he went back and watched it. He asked me to send him the link. He watched some of the videos.
Yeah, I think we got a new subscriber. I don't know why YouTube. I think if people are private, It doesn't tell me. I assume that he subscribed because I think we got
so
a new
too.
subscriber. So, shouts out. We're almost at 50. Oh man, it's a
50
slow
more
grind.
than I have.
It also shows how bad we are at promoting if people don't know. So
That is true. And that's counting Vinny's a huge F1 fan too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that was weird. When I was on DraftKings today, they had this race, and then underneath they had Vegas. You could vote on the winner of Vegas. That's it.
Really?
Just those two races. Yeah.
Yo,
I was
Vegas
like, why
really controls the
Vegas?
market, man.
And the odds were different. Like they weren't.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it like, were they similar at all, or like?
They were a little bit similar. Let's see.
Did they have? I mean, you don't have to go back and do all that, but do you remember like what order was Lando still P2?
Lando was still P2. As we go to the web here, we make a quick transition. I think it's hard for you guys to tell. But up top is this week's.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. This is Spain GP24, and then if you scroll down, Las Vegas GP24 has Max at -140, Lando at +450, Charles at +550, and Oscar at +1000.
They really feel confident that Ferrari's taking some moves forward there.
And that race is Thursday. The weekend starts Thursday, the 21st of November. So that's how far in. I don't know why we go from Spain this week's race and jump down to that
And it's
one.
like, you know what's crazy is like this could be entirely different because obviously all these cars are going to definitely bring some upgrades. It's a long time till then. What made Vegas interesting is it's a night race, and in the desert it gets really cold, so these tires are going to hold up. So Red Bull doesn't get that tire tag advantage.
Yeah, the only thing that is cool about this, I guess, is that like let's say, I can sound like a homer, but maybe you'll roll with me on this. But like Lewis Hamilton is +1600 right now, and I think that car is going to get faster. So this would be a good time to throw some money on it because if he gets faster throughout the year, the chance is going to drop down. And Carlos is +1400, Oscar's +1000. So you can say that kind of for those guys too if you think they're going to be faster. So it's kind of interesting that I don't know why that would be the race that they have.
I'm curious what the difference is going to be when we actually get to the race. And, well, I mean, we know why the race is there because like it's Vegas and Vegas just controls everything. But I'm curious what Max's odds are going to change like towards that when we get to that part of the season.
Yeah,
because I feel like he might. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like minus like 50 or like even like low pluses like +100 because like these cars are getting closer. Yeah, and And Newey said it himself. He doesn't see the car getting much faster for Red Bull, and all these cars are catching up.
Yeah, we haven't seen Lewis in the plus for money in a long time, and unfortunately, when I make the slides, Max, sorry, when I make the slides, it just goes. It just goes over last week's slide, so I can't easily like go back. We would have to go back into our YouTube
videos
and look at them. But yeah, no, I don't remember seeing Max in the plus money until like I think it was
last year. There was a race.
It was Monaco last year.
Yeah, it was like +150 or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we got going on. What else, Alex? Short, easy week this week. There wasn't a lot of news, I feel like, unless we missed something big, but I really don't feel like we did. I feel like it was all pretty chill.
Not F1 wise, I can't think of anything. Yeah, sports in general has been kind of slow.
Yeah. I mean, the scripts for the NBA and the NHL were the same exact. Where one team's both gonna go up 3-0, and then in Game 4 they're both gonna lose by the equivalent of 40 in both sports. So yeah, no. And then NBA's on tonight. That'll wrap up that.
I think Boston's taking it.
Yeah,
I'd like to say I hate seeing Boston win, but
yeah, I think they're going with gentleman sweep too. I think they're winning tonight.
Yeah.
We had Dave Powers in Canada 2 weeks ago. I found out one of my buddies, Mac, went, and he had the paddock and the VIP pass.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so he sent me a whole bunch of videos, and it was very cool. He said he was very lucky. How they got him to the track and some of the stuff that they did because I saw.
Yeah, I heard people complaining getting into the Canada was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, so VIP paddock was different. It was easier. Everyone else trying to get that many people off the island. I think it was Martin Brundle said that the popularity of the sport is kind of overgrowing the infrastructure of some of these places. But yeah, no, he sent me a lot.
I just think Canada got such an influx because a bunch of Americans.
Yeah,
they went out there.
Yeah,
like you said, Dave was there. Mac and. It's just if America just lowers the prices a little bit,
Yeah.
You might get a little bit of change, but
which they won't do.
No, they're not gonna do. I did see that they also did that thing. They did it in Vegas. Well, like they blocked off the bridge or whatever it was in Vegas. They did that in Canada too for general admission. I guess like you could stand where the race ended, the finish line or whatever. And they blocked it off with like the black tarp, and those are people who paid for this to go too. They couldn't see it. That's ridiculous, dude. Way to gatekeep a sport.
I told my buddy like, I almost don't want to go unless I'm gonna get the VIP.
I was gonna say like after seeing that and seeing how general admission, and I read comments and a lot of people were saying general admission is always kind of like crappy.
Yeah,
like you kind of just get screwed. You can't watch the race.
Yeah, I know. I want to experience it, but like also like if I'm gonna go, I want it to be, worth it.
Yeah, I mean VIP would be sick. That would be sick.
Yeah, those tickets are very expensive.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, he had everything except the only thing he didn't have is to be on the grid before the race. You have to be invited by a team, so your pass has to have one of the constructors logos on it, and that's the only
like
thing.
celebrity you need to be or something like that. Yeah,
that's the only thing he didn't have. So besides that, he was. So
guys, start blowing up the channel. John needs to get on that track. He needs to go tell Lewis that he still has faith with him.
No, I just want Lewis to watch the show and know. I do have.
Did you see his Hot Ones?
No, I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No.
It's interesting. It was funny. They asked him like, I think the only, there was a few decent questions, but the one that stuck out to me the most, which I think you've probably seen the clip online, where they asked him, he was like, what's the most you struggled with the car without it not doing what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
And he's like, right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes when those type of guys do like that type of stuff, it's like, do you pee in the car? And I'm like, bro, that's what we're asking. An 8-time champion, if he pees in the car, like, dude. Like,
to be fair, that was asked.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He said he did it once.
Yeah, one time.
But like, I feel like that's got to be more common. Like, and he's just lying.
I don't think so, dude.
Well, like, I know he doesn't drink water, but a lot of them definitely do drink water in the race.
Yeah, but like the way you sweat.
That's true.
And like where your brain is at. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've never once had to pee I've never had races that long, obviously, but like never once did like I was in my car and was like, oh, gotta pee. I don't know. I just think it's a dumb question, but that's why I don't watch those things. Did he eat a lot of hot wings?
He did. He went down.
Were they vegan?
I think they were. I thought they weren't at first, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? But I think he had like the chickpea ones or whatever the heck.
Chickpea.
I don't know what they're made out of, but yeah. He ate them. He had all the sauce and stuff. That guy eats a lot of wings a year, though. I forgot. I think they mentioned it in Lewis's thing. He eats like 3,000 wings a year or something like that. So,
I like it. I respect it. He's
committed.
He's got some cool.
And he goes as far as like the person he's interviewing does too. So like he doesn't just like make the interview. He eats with them.
I mean, you gotta.
He has to, yeah. But like I thought he would go like a step down. No, whatever sauce you're having, he's having too.
I respect it. Yeah. That's such a cool idea too.
It's such a dude. I think it's such a simple concept, and he just like
we're gonna have a conversation and eat hot wings.
Yeah.
And then shouts out to I think I saw a clip from is it the Red Flag Pod or something? I think that's their name. They had Gunther on, and I think they asked them. I think they do. He's on weekly now, maybe with them. I don't know. I saw something, but they had like a wanker and a hero clip, a pick of the week. I don't know, but he picked Sergio Perez as the wanker of the week, and he was like that performance after a 2-year contract, and I was like, you spit that fire, absolutely.
I think I saw his daughter posted him yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Like, flipped to him
he's like something. I forgot what it was, but I didn't know he had kids. First of all,
yeah.
And then it just flips over, and it's Gunther Steiner. He's like, "What?"
Yeah. I didn't really get that video.
I don't get it either, but I saw it. I thought it was funny.
Well, shouts out to the Red Flag Pod. I think that's what it is, and shout out for getting Gunther for those fire answers. I like that. All right. Well, listen. I think that's enough for us. Man, I got nothing else here. I'm chilling. We had our dodgeball tournament last week.
Yeah.
Playoffs. Neither one of us won, so that's sad. But it was a good time. Alex and I were both said we're taking next season off, which is cool.
That first game we played was insane against the Dakota's team. That was super fun.
Oh my gosh,
that was insane. We were so tired.
You want to talk about having to pee? I had to ask someone to judge to ref one of the games because I had to pee so bad. It was going so long. I was like, Logan, get in here. I have to pee.
Was it roughing us?
Yeah. Your game versus Nemesis.
It was like an hour. It was like an hour long. I had to. I just remember dude, we have to go play Dream now, and I'm gassed. I'm so tired.
I joked around with Greg as soon as you guys were done. I was like, all right, Greg, line up. Let's go. It's not like you just played an hour. Just
yeah, and
we
were all gassed. We were all gassed.
Yeah, no, but that game was insane. I don't know. They had some opportunities. You guys had some opportunities.
I choked. I choked a 1v2 at the end. And on top of that, there was one play. We were up 3-1, and there was a play where Nate threw, and I thought it hit Ray, but the refs you guys all called him clean. And then that was a huge momentum swing for them. And they came back. They won 2 games in a row after that, tied it up to go to 7. Morale was on their side. I'm glad we were able to hold it together. When Hebe reached to go catch Deja, I almost lost it. I'm like, why? Dude, just play it safe. It's you and Greg and just throw 2 at her so she gets a catch. At least one of you guys is still in.
Yeah. No, it's like your instincts come up with a ball that's slower. You're like, let me just grab this. Yeah. And it doesn't work out well. So, that's Alex is chilling with kickball. So we're locked in. He's not missing any more races this year. No more recaps. No more 30-minute recaps.
Unless it's like a 3 a.m. race. I think
No, you still have to watch the full race just later.
Well, I don't think but I don't think there's anything else on the calendars like that.
Vegas was midnight.
All the Asian races are done, right? China, Japan happened. Australia is another late race for us.
Yeah, so we're heading into the triple header of Spain, Austria, and in the United Kingdom. Then we got Hungary, Spa, Zandvoort, Italy, Azerbaijan, Singapore.
That's a late race?
Yeah. USA, Texas, Mexico City, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. When is Qatar? That's a 9 a.m. race, right?
What is he saying?
Dada.
Oh,
man.
Right, I wish you go see your son, John.
Yeah, I wish you guys could hear Carter. He's the best. So maybe Singapore is the only Alex kill time right now as I look it up.
Singapore might be the only race that we might have to stay up until 3 a.m. for. What John might be, I certainly won't be. I'm too old for that.
No, I told you those days are over, dude. My whole life is ruined. Nope, Singapore's 8 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay, we're chilling.
Yeah, I think we're good with midnight races.
Sweet.
Or 3 a.m. races. I still think Vegas is oddly late for us, but that's okay. All right, people, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, subscribe. We will be back Monday, 5:30 next week. We will see you then.